we're the number one small team under 5 agents.
Wait a second. 5 agents are coming together to do 110 million in volume? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, we did 110 million.
That's tremendous, man. Congratulations. Hey, everybody. Jason Abrams coming to you with my friend Steve LaMothe. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Jason, how are you?
I am fantastic. So take me back in time, my friend, because I want to get my dates right. You kind of launched on your own in this team with a couple of compatriots was it 2019?
Yeah, the first real year was 2019. We actually regrouped for a few months in 2018, but yes, in general, 2019 was our first year.
And prior to that, you were working on somebody else's team. That individual's business changed and you decided to launch kind of your own world. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. We, he decided to go to a different brokerage. We decided to stay at Keller Williams and start from scratch, honestly. From ground zero, really.
That's the part of the story, by the way, that I've heard that. Up to that point, I've heard that story play out time and time again. But here's where it gets crazy. You're now number 24 in sales in all of California, and you're number 1 in the Sacramento region. So, I just want to know, how do you go from brand new kind of as a team in 19 to 110 million in sales 2.5 years later? What are you guys doing?
We are working our tails off, number one. But I want to preface it, we're the number one small team under 5 agents. And we were actually number 8 in California for 2021. So we're really proud of that.
Whoa, wait a second. 5 agents are coming together to do 110 million in volume? Is that what you're telling me?
Really 3 production agents, and you always have newer agents in that group, right? But with 3 production agents, yeah, we did 110 million last year.
That's tremendous, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think it leads to my whole philosophy and what I learned from our old team and kind of rebuilding from scratch. It was actually the best opportunity, I think, and it came at the perfect time to kind of rebuild a real estate team company, let's call it, from scratch around this idea that I wanted to build the most efficient agent and really focus on higher production versus higher numbers of agents. And so our old team concept was more of the teamerage idea, where we had a lot of agents with a very low per agent production count. And it just created a lot of challenges, and those agents weren't thriving, right? So we've really focused on trying to fully leverage out the agents on our team so they can sell more real estate and focus on the higher income producing activities, let's call it.
So talk to me about those activities. You're obviously doing some form of lead generation really, really well. Where's all this business coming from?
In a nutshell, our database is always number 1. So we're selling a lot of transactions, but we really throw a lot of energy and effort into our database with events and touches and spend a lot of money on them too. And then mass media is our number 2, I would say, for seller and buyer, because they turn into buyers as well. So that's radio, direct mail, real advertising, marketing, let's say, brand awareness. And then number 3, closely following, is open houses. We've been really hitting open houses for the last 24 months. And amid COVID, they were great because we would have 100 people come to them. It was crazy. But that effort has really paid off for both buyers and sellers. And then number 4, closely following, is I would call them nurture follow-ups for sellers, meaning we're calling around neighborhoods and finding people who are interested in moving in 12 to 24 months. And then we stay in touch with them. And through video emails, market updates, we're keeping them updated on the market. So they reach out to us when they're ready to go. And we use MOFers very heavily. Gary's talked about this a lot. We built our company 4 years ago, really, in 2018, on MOFers. So it's not, our real estate team is not Steve LaMothe Real Estate. It's not about that we sell homes for the highest amount with the best service. It's about MOFers and offering innovative options to customers so they choose us for those programs versus us for our personality. And that makes it very easy to transition customers to other agents because they're not bought into Steve LaMothe, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. I tell you, if they're bought into Steve, then Steve has to do everything and be everything and go everywhere.
Yes, it's very challenging, and you can't. I've always taken to heart from mentors, like you want to build something that you can exit, and the true definition of a business is like a group of people that functions like on its own, right? You've built something that can create sales, and it doesn't involve you showing up to it every single day.
Okay, so if you had to go through and database, kind of the mass media, open houses, and then I'm gonna call it circle prospecting because that's kind of what it sounds like to me in a TCPA friendly, compliant way, of course. Which of these four, if you're sitting in the audience right now, you could give me a model for, such that I could leave Mega Camp and I could run out and I could literally hit the ground running and start doing one of these things. Which one of these do you think has some secret sauce behind it?
That's the key piece of advice. Build a model for everything that you're doing and stick to it for at least 12 to 24 months. If I can give someone a piece of advice to go run with right away, I would say open houses is where it's at. It doesn't cost you any money.
Walk me through an open house.
The model for us, and again, we execute this like everyone else 70% of the time, right? You don't have to be perfect, but the model is, you want to be selective about the open houses in the first place. Like, who's your target avatar? Is it like the middle of the market from the price point perspective, right? And I think this is going to be more important as this COVID market shifts, maybe towards first-time homebuyers. So I would select lower price point properties that are brand new to market, number one. And you're going to have more people coming to those open houses. But the day of the event is really important. You want to put out at least 20 to 30 signs. It's actually recommended 40, but I found that is a huge effort to try to get 40 out, especially in larger areas. And then you want to get there an hour in advance to make sure that you're prepared, it's ready to go. You have a table set up. That table has flyers on it, right? They need to have a way to contact you in the future if they come to the open house. The follow-up campaign thereafter is what makes or breaks whether you are able to earn business from open houses or not, right?
What does that look like?
Yeah, for us, it's all automated. You can do this in command, setting up text messages and email campaigns after that person has registered, right? But the first text that goes out is, hey, thanks so much for coming by the open house. Can you please rank this house from a 1 out of a 10? That has like a 90% response rate because it's not about, will you work with me or, I'm a good agent or whatever, right? You're just trying to get them to respond so you can ask more questions and start qualifying that customer. So that's a good text message to follow with. And that goes out literally hours after their open house. And then we have a campaign that follows up for almost a week and a half, I would say, with 5 text messages, basically, hey, I know you came to the open house yesterday. Just curious, are you working with an agent or how long have you been in the market? So we're just kind of digging for motivation. So we have 7 text messages, 12 emails over the course of about a week and a half to 2 weeks. And then our goal is to follow up with a call the very next day. And the goal is you just want to qualify that customer to see if it's an opportunity or not. And you're starting with, thank you so much for coming to our open house. Can we please have feedback so we can report that to our seller?
And if I'm starting out and I'm not doing the number of units I want to do, how many open houses a week would you tell me to focus on?
I am a little more aggressive, especially today, right? Let's think about where we are today. The market is different. It's coming back to reality. If you don't have escrows and you don't have active customers, like, you should be camped out at open houses every day if that's your lead gen lever, right? You should actually work from an open house 8 hours a day, honestly. And so realistically, I would say you should be doing 2 to 4 open houses per week. In our market, what that generates, about 4 customers that give us contact info come to each open house. So if we do 2 per week, that's 8 leads, let's call it, right? If you get 8 leads, that means historically 50% of people own homes. So at least 50% of them should transact in the next 7 to 10 years. And highly likely, a lot of them will be first-time home buyers, so you might get another 20 to 25%. And if they don't choose us, that just means we didn't do a good job following up, or we didn't have good mofers to get them to call us when they were ready to go.
Steve, talk to me a little bit about the database. And you know, if you had to pick one or two of the coolest touches that you're doing on an annual basis that to you are just unique or they're mainstays, what would they be? I think we can agree that the key is consistency. And I think everyone here gets that. What are some of the cool things you're doing in a consistent way that I don't know about?
There's two answers to that question. One is events, because events allow you to make the touches, the calls, and the texts that everyone is reluctant to make to their database easier, right? So events, examples of that would be, we just did a AAA baseball game. It costed me like $1,600. My vendors paid for it all. Didn't cost me anything in actuality to do. But it allowed me to call, text, email my database and tell them about that. So we'll do 4 events a year. That makes for 4 phone calls a year, like 10 text messages a year, and emails. So events is number one.
Hang on a second. If I'm going to do an event, do you have like 3 or 4 rules to every event? Is there yes. a method here? Well, teach me.
We want to plan our events at the beginning, like the fourth quarter of the year previous, right? And there's a reason for that. So you can put out a schedule to your database at the beginning of the year. There's touch 1, right? Here's my 4 events this year. Be on the lookout for the invitations. Touch 2 is a save the date. The save the date can be a call, and it could be a text or an email. We like mail, so we mail our database and keep accurate addresses. And so a save the date goes out 60 days before the event. 30 days before the event, the actual registration link goes out, right? It's by mail and email. We force our clients who are taking part in these events to register, because when they register, we'll do like a call day and we'll take their info down. We ask for important contact info to make sure that's up to date, right? And then also we'll ask for, do you know anybody that's looking to potentially make a move the next 2 years that we can help, right? So we're using it as an opportunity to get referrals. So, 30 days before the event, and then 2 weeks before the event, we send out a text reminder. And then 3 days before the event, we'll make a big call. And everyone on the team will start calling everyone in our database to try to get more registrations. And then the day, sorry about my texting.
Realtors never have to apologize for incoming lead gen. Let me just tell you this. By my count, you've taken 5 listings while we've been on this call. It's awesome.
I know, it's just dinging. I don't know how to turn it off. The most important thing I would say is these are database and sphere events, right? But we have way more contacts in our database. I would recommend to everyone, you don't want to send it out too early, but 3 days before our event, we'll send the contents of what we're doing and the invitation to our entire database of leads, contacts, so they can see what we do for our current and active clients, in hopes that they don't register all at once, because we have tens of thousands of people, right? So, there's 7 touches basically before the event that are important. And that's what it's all about. If no one registered for your event, it's okay, because you had 7 touches with your whole database that you're giving away something of value.
Well, so you already won in your mind before you even have the event. The event is all of the. That's just the sugar on top. Right.
And you'll find over the years, you'll know who your event customers are. There's a small percentage of your customers that will engage in your event. So, and they'll repeat come. It's not about the event. It's about, how do I stay in touch with my database without coming across as a salesy, slithery real estate agent that's looking for referrals, right? I am not that sales guy. I want to give value at all costs in all ways in our business. And giving away free events is a way for us to do that.
All right. Name 2 of your favorite events. You said you just did a baseball. What are your favorites from history on?
Yeah, in the summertime, we do a movie event where we rent out the theater, and that costs money, but you can get your vendors to offset your costs. That's important. And then number two is we did because we had to do an outdoor event because of COVID, we did a pumpkin patch event last year, and it was awesome. I had never done that before. And it didn't cost a lot of money. So, you basically invite your customers to come get a pumpkin with you, right? And we have a really cool pumpkin patch around our office that has hay rides and stuff like that. I would add, when you do these events, hire a professional video crew to make you a video, or leverage your photographer to give that to you instead of giving you money for your event, okay? Because after the event, we push out a video, and that video goes to our entire database, right? And it's just basically like a thank you, okay?
I'm telling you, that's incoming leads. I just want you to know, Steve has set the pace car for the rest of the industry. If you're not getting leads at the rate his phone is going off, you're not doing it right.
The other event that's really popular is doing the pie day, right? We give pies away. My philosophy in this business is like, I didn't want to be another pie, agent that gives away Safeway pies, okay? Everything you do, you should look at it from kind of this lens, and everything that I do this way. I wanted to, even though it might cost me more money, I wanted to partner with a local baker who's like top notch. These pies are just the bomb, right? As a millennial. And so, what's caught on with that is, yes, I give away less pies, but people are reaching out to me like literally months before the event to make sure that they're getting their pie reserved, right?
It's so smart.
So we give away about 150 of those pies because we have to cap it because they're like $30, right? And so it costs a lot of money. But again, I don't want to be the agent giving away the $5 pie, that the customer can just go get from Safeway. You want to make it an experience and give them,
It's a no-brainer. I love the Safeway pies. They last for months in your trunk. But I love what you just said, man. Because here's the thing. The equation for cool is scarcity plus exclusivity. Scarcity plus exclusivity equals cool. This was awesome, dude. At the end of every one of these, I try to go back and give a name to each interview. So if you hate it, just say no. But if I had to name this, I think I would call it Lead Generation a Love Story. Because you said earlier you got to fall in love with lead gen. And the way that you're doing it, I don't blame you, man. You're having so much darn fun. You're waking up every day loving on people.
I would agree with that. I would say this business, what does Gary say? We're in the lead generation business. And if you look at that as like, oh man, I got to make all these calls, you're going to have a tough time, right? But if you look at it as, I'm going to find people because I know I do this business better than most, right? And I have to make sure that all these sales that happen in Sacramento are happening with me. So they get in my world and wind up my past clients so they can take, we can take great care of them with our events, right? You just need to think of yourself as like, you have to go to battle, fight all the other agents to make sure the client gets an amazing experience with you.
Steve, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, from on a team to owning a team, 110 million in less than 2 years. My head's going to explode. Steve, thank you on behalf of every consumer that you helped. And thank you on behalf of Keller Williams at large for teaching us how to do it. We're really grateful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Grab the mouse and just click here. I know you want more of these.